Eric here with TeamEccenTrick, going to bring you guys a dual commentary video. I'm playing my Mermails on the right, Joe is playing his Noble Knights on the left. My Mermails in this particular video are a different build from what I'm currently testing. In this build I'm playing the Undyne engine, only because I figure it's a good way to get into yugioh, but it doesn't really lend a lot of, good lines of play regarding, mid to late game. And so we're getting into turn 1. He activates his Heritage of the Chalice, allowing him to search a Noble Arms or a Noble Knight. So he searches the Caliburn. The normal summons Mandrat, activates Caliburn, which allows him to special summon off of Mandrat's effect a Noble Knight from his deck. Destroys the equip spell and re-equips it to Ivan. When Ivan is equipped, it gets a token. You can see that Noble Knights generate a really big board very quickly. He special summons Custonin and then a Gawain from his hand. The deck move is very, very fast now. It's a lot different than when the deck first debuted. I remember when Noble Knights first came out, they were very slow paced strategy. Summon one monster and protect it, kind of. Uses this old to add a Noble Knight, and then he sends for cost 3 or 4 equip spells. Special summons Brothers from his deck, which is basically Daigusto Emerald for Noble Knights and Noble Arms. He then overlays and goes into what I believe is Artorigus. Give me a moment here. But yeah, he summons Artorigus, which allows him to re-equip 3 equip spells from Grave. So he equips Gallatin, Excalibur, and Destiny, basically making his monster damn near invincible. Destiny prevents it from being destroyed by battle, or I think card effect as well, but I'm not sure. Excalibur prevents it from being targeted, and then Gallatin gives it an extra 1,000, and then he loses 200 attack per standby phase. So then he overlays into the Custonin and then sets a card and passes. So now it's my turn. And I reveal Teus, ditching this Fern, and I attempt to search with Teus. And he ashes. So basically trying to prevent me from getting a lot of my resources, but I banish Thistfern and add Rosenix. And then he chains the trap card, allowing him to excavate for each Noble Arm card he controls, and then take one card and then shuffle the rest back into the deck. Or put them back on the top in any order, but nonetheless. Normal summon heavy infantry and then additional normal marksman, thinking I can maybe do something here. I link summon into Nightmare Phoenix, and then I use its effect to ditch Gun to destroy his Excalibur to make his monster targetable, and then Gun specials back to Teus. And then I link 4 into Borolo. You can see that I'm trying to really think out my plays here. Then after that I attack with Borolo, and I attack his Custonin. And I use its effect to steal a monster, obviously stealing the Custonin. And you'll see why I actually stole the Custonin over the Artorigus, as well as the fact that I destroyed his Excalibur, because now Custonin can bounce his Artorigus back and basically send his... Yeah, so basically I made it so that his monster's targetable, and then I took his removal and removed his monster with his own removal. So I think that was a pretty fire play, honestly, but you'll see it comes back to kind of bite me in the ass, I feel. That's the thing about Mermails right now. They're not really that strong, but he banishes his trap card from his grave to special summon a Noble Knight with a different name than any other ones in his grave or that he controls. So he summons Dristan, and then he overlays after summoning another one into his other Custonin. And the thing about Custonin is targets, so he can't target my Borload, so that's obviously off the table. But he detaches and he spoons back his other Custonin. But regardless, he has outs, but he banishes his Excalibur to summon Artorigus, and then he chain links he uses Artorigus, and then I go chain link 2 as Borload to reduce his monster before the equip spells hit the board. So basically his monster's at 2,700 attack points, and then he special summons 2 more Noble Knights, links into another Isolde, uses its effect, adds Boars, I believe. And then from there, From there, he summons out his brothers. And he uses brothers effect. He uses Isolde's effect to send for cost and special summons another brothers. He uses brothers effect to Daigusto Emerald essentially. Shuffle 3 Noble Knight or Noble Arms cards back into the deck and then draw 1. And the thing about brothers is it's not once per turn, so he can do that for as many copies as he summons during a turn as long as he has the targets. It's kind of ridiculous. He can just keep looping and looping and looping, which is really crazy, honestly. It's really difficult to honestly at this point win against Noble Knights in terms of a resource game or a war of attrition, because they can literally just loop all their stuff back as long as they have the correct lens of play. So then he overlays and he goes into another Artorgus and then uses effect to equip. And there's Destiny, Excalibur, and Gallatin, basically making his monster untargetable, so I can't even reduce it, even if I had the effect, which I already used, so that's a thing. And then he swings over Borreload and then swings with the other 2. Basically, my monster is, or my Borreload ended up getting crashed with his monster because it's at 3k, but it's the equip spell of Destiny prevents it from being destroyed by battle. So basically he was able to out my board simply off of like 2 cards, which is really crazy if you really think about it, because Noble Knights have always been kind of a lackluster strategy, and now they're actually kind of doing okay. They're not like topping regionals or anything like that, and I don't think they will. I don't think they're that strong, but I think they're definitely, in terms of more casual play, they're really strong. But I kaiju over his monster, and then I normal summon Rosenix, and then it's swing at his Tristan. And when I kaiju over his monster, you re-equip to Isolde, and then after that, he activates Heritage of the Chalice on his turn, allowing him to search a Noble Knight or Noble Arms card, and I scoop it up because I figure there's really nothing I can do about that. It's honestly really saddening to see, a great deck like Mermail just kind of like be lackluster at this point, at least until we get our Link monster. I mean, right now the deck really just can't function in a competitive way. It's just not as good, which is unfortunate because it's my favorite deck. It's like the only deck I'm really interested in playing. I play other decks obviously now, and I've been experimenting with other decks, but only because Mermail is just so lackluster, and it just is what it is. I mean, it's unfortunate, and if Mermails continue to be this way, I don't know about my future in the game, to be honest. It's kind of part of the reason why I went on those hiatuses before, is because Mermails just were not doing well, and I just feel like if my favorite deck doesn't do well, there's no reason for me to want to play. I don't really, I'm not really big into the game to begin with in total. I just like playing, the strategies that I like. And if the strategies that I like don't work, then I'm kind of, I guess I could say I'm half-ass about the game. But, so we're getting into game 2, and we sided. And, I know a lot of people also have been, have suggested to me Seika's Light, but I just feel like Seika's Light's not really all that great in Mermail, because you want your Call by the Graves to prevent your opponent's hand traps, because if somebody draws you, you are screwed. But so he's going first. He sets a card, normal summons Boars, activates Caliburn, gains 500 life points, uses Boars' effect to reveal 3 Noble Knight or Noble Arms spell or trap cards or something like that. And then basically I pick one randomly, and then the other 2 go to the grave while the one I picked is added to his hand. So I roll, and then he gets the trap card to his hand and sends Clarent and another trap to his grave, and then he sets 3 more cards, or 2 more cards, so it's really crazy, and then he activates Excalibur on that. So I activate Magical Spring as a side deck card against his deck, and I draw 2 cards because he has 2 face-up cards, and then I ditch one. So I ditch the Pike, figuring I can use the Pike later when I get a Gund. But I activate Evenly Matched at the end of my battle phase, and he Solemn Judgment, that's pretty ridiculous. So I normal summon Neptibus, summon Dragoons. But the fact that he had the Solemn Judgment for the Evenly Matched, but then after that he activates 2 of the trap cards, and allows him to excavate and then add cards to his hand, which is also kind of ridiculous. Like, Noble Knights can gain a lot of advantage very quickly. It's actually pretty kind of annoying, honestly. I don't see why people aren't playing the deck as much, but at the same time, I personally don't like the deck all that much, but that's just me, I guess. Send Dragoons, add Dragoons, and then Dragoons, add Neptibus. like the, and then after that I reveal Teus and I discard the Gund, and then I use Teus effect. But Teus effect doesn't resolve, I don't have any targets, so I basically use Gund and I ditch, or I special summon Pike to ditch Neptibus, and Neptibus special summon Dragoons, and then I added Undyne off of Pike. It's really weird, honestly. So I link summon into the Mistar Boy, figuring maybe I can beat over his monster, and then I overlay into the Abyss Dweller, which is actually really strong because Abyss Dweller is amazing against Noble Knights. But he changed the trap card as I activate Dweller, and then I use Dragoons as well. He special summons his brothers. I add the Megalo. But yeah, Dweller is at 2700. A Dweller that's also a beater is really strong. And then so I reveal Megalo, ditching Dragoons and Heavy Infantry. And Heavy Infantry, I add the equip spell off of Megalo. Heavy Infantry targets Caliburn because he's under Dweller, so it won't come back. And then I'm still thinking on what to add off of Dragoons. So I add Diva, thinking maybe I can extend my board a little and maybe get some more resources out there. Just situate myself in a better scenario. So then I banish to special summon Aqua Spirit. I banish the Neptibus. And then I link summon for 3 and go into the Summon Sorceress. And I use Summon Sorceress effect and special summon the Megalo. And then I overlay into the Gaios. And then I activate the equip spell on Gaios, thinking, now he gains 1300 attack in total, putting him at 43, I think. And then he Kaiju's over my Dweller before I get the chance to activate it. I should have used it during standby phase, but I wasn't thinking. I was thinking maybe I could use it, at some point during his turn. But that's just me being a bad player. It is what it is. But he has 2 warriors on board, and then he special summons his Custonin off of his trap card. So you can see how Noble Knights just speed through their deck very, very, very quickly, and on top of that, they just recur resources really easily with brothers as a Daigusto Stormo. And then he baits out my equip spell using the Chalice card. That's fucking Heritage of the Chalice or whatever. And then he's reading Gaios because Gaios is, it's a chainable skill drain essentially. But its effect to keep big monsters from attacking doesn't really affect him because all his monsters are level 4s. He uses this old effect, sending 4 equip spells for cost to allow him to special summon something. Special summons brothers, which allows him to recycle stuff. He has 2 brothers on board, which honestly is like kind of a sickening play because they can literally just summon out 2 brothers, and as long as they have the resources in their graveyard, they can just keep looping stuff. It's actually really fucking bonkers, honestly. But I actually, in the build that Mermail I'm playing in the video rather, I'm not playing the Frogs, which is actually unfortunate because I feel like the Frogs are really good against the Noble Knight matchup as long as you can establish a Toad and protect it and keep it from getting fucked by like a Kaiju or something. Like, I mean, there have been duels where I've summoned Saryuja with a Toad and a Kaiju. I summon the Kaiju to my board, not only as a negate for Toad because it's an Aqua, but as a way to prevent him from Kaijuing my Toad, so then it kind of fucks him. But so now he has 5 monsters on board, and he Kaiju'd my Abyss Dweller earlier in the turn, so it's not even like I can use that as a way to prevent his plays from the grave. So he link summons for 4, summons out Borlo Dragon. Borlo Dragon and Noble Knights is just like a weird thing. It's whatever. And then I detach, figuring I can negate the rest of his monster effects in case he does something. And after that, he swings at my Gaios and he destroys it. But You have to remember, Borreload Dragon, in order to steal a monster, it has to have a zone open that it points to, and it does not. Both zones are taken by his Noble Knight. So if you would have overlaid into something, that would have been a smarter play. But you know, I mean, he's still, I wouldn't say inexperienced, but he's still kind of getting up there in terms of experience. He's still like learning, you know, certain things about, you know, like thinking out lines of play and things like that, and kind of like figuring out the best way to go about, you know, how he plays the game. So, you know, he makes mistakes, and it is what it is. But then again, so do I. I mean, I've been playing this game for years. So then after that, I kaiju his Borreload, and I summon it next to the summon sorts, figuring I can target it and special summon something. So I special summon the Undyne, and this is what I mean by the Undyne not really being all that great in my opinion, is because it's great as a starting card, but you know, in terms of like lines of play mid to late game, it really does nothing. It really does not help you. It's just not all that great in my opinion. Not only that, when you special summon it somehow, it does literally nothing. It's just a body on the board that's not even all that strong. So I just feel like it's not all that great in my opinion. I mean, it's good to get into Saryuja, and you know, to kind of link climb and do stuff like that, but in terms of just like the intrinsic value of the card in the deck, I feel like it's literally just a starter card and nothing more. And sometimes you don't even like, you kind of want to make the focal point of your normal summon around Neptibus anyway. Like, you want to like summon Neptibus or Diva and not Undyne first, but that's, you know, I mean, that's just kind of a thing, I guess. So I'm still thinking on what I want to do here, because I think I have a way to out his board, but I normal summon Diva. Back the Neptibus, send the Dragoons. I add heavy infantry, and then Dragoons adds Megalo, figuring maybe I can potentially put him away this turn. So then I link summon for 4, and I go into the Saryuja, and I use its effect. Obviously shuffling back, or putting 3 cards back to the bottom of my deck. Saryuja in Mermail can be really strong, just because it allows you to dig, obviously with any deck, it allows you to dig deeper, but with Mermail, you know, it allows you to get into the intrinsic combo pieces you need. So I reveal Megalo, ditching heavy infantry and the Undyne as cost, and then heavy infantry targets the Gamma-Seal, and also Saryuja increases the Megalo. I special summon the Gamma-Seal from my hand using Saryuja's effect, and then I tribute the Diva for Megalo's effect to attack twice. I'm just kind of thinking out my plays here, because the thing about Mermail is it's really honestly not all that strong right now. I feel, at least. I feel it's not bad, it's still really good, but like, we don't have any going first win conditions, and going second is really difficult with, you know, decks like, you know, you know, the freaking Danger Thunder Dragon. But now I'm going into battle, and I swing with the Gamma-Seal, and then I swing with the Megalo, and then Megalo swings again, and then after that I swing with Saryuja. So that's game 2. So now we go into game 3, we're siding, and like, I sided, I think, kind of optimally against particularly the Noble Knight matchup, because obviously he's using equip spells, so using the Magical Spring just allows me to dig deeper into my deck and get cards, and also discard Mermails, so that when I use Gund, I have a Mermail engraved right then and there. But the thing about it is he, you know, when I side evenly matched, he has the Solemn Judgments, which are, he just like that was like, just being able to negate the evenly matched just puts him, I don't want to say in an advantageous state, because it's not necessarily advantageous, but it keeps him from getting fucked, because evenly matched literally is the bane of a Noble Knight's existence. It literally ruins the deck, because if you evenly matched and it resolves, all they have is either a monster on board or an equip spell that ends up getting the grave. So we're going into game 3, and you know, I'm already kind of flustered, I suppose you could say, because Mermails just aren't doing as hot as I'd like them to do. You know, they're not playing the way I want them to, and not only that, the Undyne engine is really bricky. So, he goes first, he sets a card, he activates Heritage of the Chalice. Madraw, same play, that's like his standard opening play. Summons Madraw, activates Caliburn, gains 500, special summons Ivan, re-equips Caliburn to Ivan, gets a token that gives him the resources for Isolde and a level 4 on board so far. Thus giving him the capability to eventually set up a board of unbreakable monsters, essentially, which is the whole point of Opal Knights. Like, that's what they do. They don't make boards of negation. They set up boards with monsters that you're supposed to try and kill with all their equipped spells, which is why Evenly Matched is amazing against them, if it resolves. But now he uses Isolde effect, and he sends the equipped spells for cost. Special summons Brothers, which allows him the Daigusto Emerald effect. I will say, as much as I don't like Noble Knights as a deck right now, I do have a lot of respect for Joe's dedication to the deck. It is, you know, he does know the deck very well. It's just so annoying playing against it. And, you know, I mean, obviously Mermails are what I think are kind of the intrinsically the better deck, but right now they just don't have any win condition, and that's the unfortunate part. Whereas Joe's win condition is inherently in his deck. Mermails kind of have to either OTK or bust right now. They don't really get to go first, and even when they go second, I have to make sure my opponent doesn't have negates. So he overlays in the Artorigus, which allows him to re-equip Excalibur, Gallatin, and Destiny, which basically makes his monster really difficult to win against. And then I activate the Magical Spring on my turn. I discard the controller, which is really annoying. Drawing the controller, and then I go to battle phase, activate Evenly Matched, and then he Judgments again. And see, that's the thing, is... So I normal summon Pike, discard the Dragoons. Pike searches Gund. And I'm thinking of what to search with Dragoons. So search the Megalo, figuring maybe I can like put a big beater on board and kind of like, you know, play a War of Attrition style game at this point, and just kind of like, you know, sit back and, you know, hopefully I can wait until his resources kind of waver. But I use Megalo, discarding the Gun and the Aqua Spirit, adding the Equip spell. As you can see, my board is not really very optimal. Like, I didn't draw a very optimal hand A and B. You know, I mean, I did have like Evenly Matched and things like that, but it just did not work in my favor. So I think I can maybe extend my board a little by going into Mr. Boy setting 2. I think actually I have another Evenly Matched in my hand, and I forgot that his Artorigus allows him to destroy back row, so I called by the grave his Ivan, and then after that, I have Valor, and then that's basically it. So I Valor his, well, I had the response with Valor to keep his monster from destroying my back row, but it was too late. It was already accepted game state. And that's the thing is, you know, I mean, when I get flustered, I'll admit, I get kind of like impatient, and my plays turn into kind of crap. I get a little like, you know, what am I supposed to do now? You know, and even then, he you know, you see that he's going off, and there's really not much I can do here, unfortunately, and it's so shitty, honestly, because it's like it kind of like it discourages me that my favorite deck is losing to even Noble Knights. And Noble Knights are not a bad deck, but they're not like in my opinion, intrinsically Mermails are just a better deck. But, I mean, it is what it is, I suppose. There's really not much I can do about it. So, you know, I just have to work on my build and make sure that my build is a little better or something like that. That and the Undyne engine, you know, testing the Undyne engine just really wasn't... It was very suboptimal. It really didn't do much, in my opinion. And now we're showing each other the sides, by the way. You see I sided Valor, just figuring I stop his Isolde. I had Magical Springs. evenly matches, and there's me getting mad at Aqua Spirit and the Undyne package. But that's my point, is Mermails right now are just not very strong. They're kind of suboptimal, and it's not even, I don't feel the deck, maybe it's just the builds that I'm playing, but whatever the case may be, I just feel like I should not be losing to a deck like Noble Knights. That's just me, I guess. But either way, Eric here with TeamEccenTrick. Leave comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys think. It is what it is. Yu-Gi-Oh, you know, sometimes you just take those L's. But Eric here with TeamEccenTrick, and I'm signing out. Rate and subscribe, leave your comments and ideas in the comment section below, and don't hesitate to give us respectful suggestions on content you want to see. Eric on behalf of the team saying take care, and TeamEccenTrick out.